Hi guys, welcome to Robin Hood Diaries again today. Hope you're well. Hope I'm well. Wish me well. No, I'm okay. So today we previewed kind of an oddball topic, which is my distaste for Victorian literature. I said art and literature, but literature is an art. I don't really have much against like painters and things like that of the era. But Victorian era literature, Bronte, Thackeray, Austen, you name it, I absolutely have an aversion to. I've read them, many of them, had to in school, chose to a couple on my own, as insufferable as they were to me, and I can't. I have such an aversion to that era in terms of literature, and I will explain to you why, and then I'll let you go. Like I said, oddball topic. Okay, so we all know that my taste in reading is like, runs the gamut. Okay, I love Greek tragedy. I love Roman tragedy. I love black comedy. I love plays. I love all kinds of shows. My favorite writer, my favorite book at 12 was Myra Breckinridge. So was The Tragedy of Julius Caesar. So was Looking for Mr. Goodbar by Judith Rosner. So it really runs the gamut. I have such a distaste, bordering on loathing, of Victorian era literature, and here is why. In that time, in the 19th century, especially mid to late, and at the end where they thought they were making reforms, which were shit, London was the largest city, the largest mecca commercially, capitalist-wise, any which way you cut it, in the world. At times of the 19th century, it was the center, city-wise, of the world. Why? Because it was one of the first industrialized nations. Now, Germany, was in an arena, some, could say, but London took it to the absolute extreme. There was the East End and the West End of London, right? Of course. 19th century, there's definitely a East and a West End. Now, on the East End, you did have lower middle class. You did have poverty. You did have disenfranchised. You had disadvantaged. And then, of course, the West Side, we have Emily Bronte and all of this lovely, polished moral dilemmas going on in upscale, upper crust, I don't know, aristocracy, wealthy, even good shop owners, of good stores, or what you would call petite bourgeoisie, which is, mid-level elitism. So, further out in the East End of London was a place. I can't remember the two districts' names. Of Stippenfield or something like that was the main one. And the inhabitants of this area were called crawlers. Now, this is so far beneath poverty, you cannot imagine. If you know this, I'm sorry to be redundant. If you're interested, beyond what little I can tell you, Google it. The crawlers of the 19th century in London. These were people that were literally living in gulag situations. They were literally 2 clicks from a concentration camp. And in ways, the dovetails are way too frequent, in too many numbers. These were people that slept on mud, on cold stone floors, that subsisted on tea and bread half made of chalk, just to fill their stomachs. They would go for days on end. Mothers would be supporting 4 children, making matchsticks with hands that were frostbitten. And she would die, and her children would die. So this is beyond imagination. You cannot wrap your mind around the scope of the living conditions on the far East End of the crawlers.